Welcome to the Nevis newscast for Thursday, July 1st, 2021. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. In light of the recent developments regarding the spread of COVID-19 in the Federation, the Nevis Air and Seaports Authority NASPA has implemented new protocols at all its ports. All scheduled passenger ferry operations will be discontinued at the Charlestown port until July 12th. All essential passenger travel will be directed to the Uwali water taxi facility until July 12th in the first instance. All essential travelers must provide documentation from the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force identifying them as essential personnel. This can be obtained via www.police.kn. Charter services for essential travel, cargo operations between St. Kitts and Nevis, and operations at the Sea Bridge must be approved by the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force and NASPA. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, NASPA's Security and Marine Department, St. Kitts and Nevis Customs and Excise Department, St. Kitts and Nevis Defence Force, and the Ministry of Tourism's Beach Patrol will provide 24-hour land and sea surveillance to ensure strict compliance to the new protocols for the duration of the lockdown on St. Kitts. Persons with complaints or reporting suspicious activities along the coastline are asked to call 311. Meantime, all fishermen based in St. Kitts who wish to conduct business in Nevis are only authorized to use the tender pier at the Charlestown port. Owners and operators of beach bars will be required to purchase fish from fishermen at the Charlestown port and not on Pinnis Beach. Fishermen based in Nevis are allowed to continue their operations at other areas. However, the names of the crew should be reported to NASPA and the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force prior to departing. All fishermen based in Nevis who wish to conduct business at the Charlestown Seaport or the Uwali water taxi facility must first notify security at the respective ports, who will then provide an escort. The Nevis Island Administration continues the rollout of its closed-circuit television CCTV program. The Honourable Mark Brantley, Premier and Minister responsible for security on Nevis, notes that this is in keeping with the NIA's crime prevention efforts.
That the engineers from Mexico would have come to Nevis on June 26. They worked in a bubble. They departed on the 9th of July. And while on island, that technician installed the video wall, monitors, computers, access control at our CCTV command center. We had a snag in terms of equipment where the incorrect cabling was sent, but I'm advised that that cabling should be here shortly. And once that is installed, then the center will be fully operationalized. Staff members, you will see them all across the island, are continuing to run the CCTV, and indeed, they continue to put up the cameras around the island. And I would just like to say, which I think is a matter of some interest, that we are not just doing a basic CCTV system. I'm advised that the system will have capacities, for example, like license plate recognition. And so it will be very important that that information is immediately available to our law enforcement so that we know exactly who is moving and for what purpose.
Premier of Nevis, the Honourable Mark Brantley, speaking at his June 29th press conference. Premier, the Honourable Mark Brantley, says the collection of almost $3 million in property transfer fees over the last 9 months by the Nevis Island Administration is an indication of thoughtful policy making that is bearing fruit. In 2020, the NIA instituted a waiver of the 10% alien land holding license fee for existing homes, one of its measures to stimulate the economy in Nevis.
The idea was that the realtors, whom I also had met with, had indicated that they had a huge stock of homes, villas, that they were trying to sell but couldn't get sold. If you were buying as a non-national, you had to pay an additional 10% to acquire that home. And so we thought about it long and hard, and we granted a waiver of the 10%. That initiative, managed through the Honorable Alexis Jeffers as Deputy Premier and Minister of Lands, and instituted on the 1st of September 2020, that from then until now, June 25th, that we have been able to approve property on Nevis, changing hands to the value of $70,639,880.33.
From those transactions, the NIA has collected $2.7 million.
We have collected $2.7 million in stamp duty, transfer tax. Clearly, on a value of $70 million, we would expect to collect just over $7 million over that 9-month period, but we understand that processing takes time. And so, as of today, we have collected $2.7 million thus far.
This amount is in addition to fees collected for the processing of alien landholding license applications.
We collected $150,500 in 2020 from that fee. But for the 6 months thus far of 2021, we are already seeing some $143,000 collected.
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley. Still to come, Licensing Authority waives inspection fees for June and July. The details after this break.
The Nevis Water Department is getting ready to launch a new app, making it easier for customers to pay online. We've heard all the complaints, and the department has made moves, made calls to build a platform that will be easily accessible for our customers. We are getting ready to launch our ePay app. Yes, you've heard right. ePay is coming soon to the Nevis Water Department. Stay tuned. Keep your ears and eyes locked. The Nevis Water Department is here to provide you with exceptional service.
Welcome back. While the summer vacation for students in St. Kitts and Nevis will officially commence on Friday, July 2nd, teachers are expected to be engaged in the usual end-of-school year activities from Monday, July 5th.
During the period, July 5th to the 9th, teachers will be engaged in their various meetings, their discussions. Of course, they're doing this virtually. They will be discussing promotions, the transition of students, placement for the upcoming academic year 2021 to 2022. Part of this week that teachers have by themselves would be to complete their records. This has to be done at the school. This can't be done virtually. And so teachers would be informed later as to an appropriate time, given the situation in the country, when they would have the opportunity to complete these records.
At the June 30th NEOC COVID-19 briefing, William Hodge, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, explained the process for the promotion of secondary school students and the transition of primary school students to secondary schools.
We had the opportunity, the good fortune, and we give thanks to Almighty God for giving us that good fortune to have face-to-face instruction for 2.5 terms roughly. And during these 2 terms, these 2.5 terms, teachers were asked to do continuous assessment. So instead of just teaching and waiting until the end of the term to have examinations, that was discouraged this school year, where teachers were encouraged to do continuous assessment. So every unit, every chunk of work that was taught, those areas would have been assessed. The students would have been assessed on those areas by their teachers. So once teachers put this mechanism in place, each of them, every teacher would have a substantial amount of marks that they can use for the discussion of students, the evaluation, the assessment of students.
The Ministry of Education has already begun its discussions with respect to the reopening of schools for the 2021-2022 academic year.
A lot of this is going to depend on the situation on the ground as we get closer to the opening of schools. And so as decisions are discussed and made, we will come back to you to ensure that the parents, members of the public, are properly informed as to the guidelines that would regulate the reopening of schools.
Schools in St. Kitts and Nevis have been physically closed since May 24th under the recommendation of the National COVID-19 Task Force. The licensing authority in St. Kitts and Nevis has waived the inspection for vehicles scheduled to be licensed in June and July. That is, vehicles ending with license plates 6 and 7, according to Superintendent of Police Cromwell Henry during the June 29, 2021 edition of Leadership Matters. Persons who are impacted by the lockdown currently in place due to the COVID-19 pandemic and have to renew their vehicle licenses can do so via St. Kitts and Nevis Inland Revenue Department website www.sknird.com. The portal requires persons to upload a vehicle inspection certificate. Therefore, in the absence of the inspection certificate, persons are asked to upload their vehicle insurance in both spaces for vehicle insurance and vehicle inspection certificate. That means that the insurance will be uploaded twice so that the application can be processed. For persons to utilize the website, they must first create an account and then register. Persons with expired driver's licenses are also encouraged to utilize the website. All persons, especially those affected at this time, are encouraged to utilize this service. And that's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Thank you for viewing.